Hey everyone, it is Olivia Callan, Health Fitness Specialist with Corporate Fitness Works, and we are entering week 3 of our mobility series. So today I'm going to be giving you guys 4 exercises to do for hip mobility. All right, so if you're somebody who's, sitting down too much, maybe you're feeling tight hamstrings, quads, glutes, all right, they're all connected together, and our hips are meant for powerful movements, meant to help us with our everyday lives. All right. So as we get older, it's important that we don't neglect our hips. All right. So these exercises today, you can do any fitness level. You can do them right when you wake up in the morning. You can do them during your midday lunch. All right. Or you're going to do them maybe before an exercise or after exercise. But again, it's so important that we don't neglect our hips and we focus on our hip joints because down the long run, all right, there's something that's going to help us and get us through our everyday functions, especially as we get older. I know it's very common as we get older, we fall. Our hips are the first thing that breaks, all right, because they get sensitive. So we want to make sure that we build the muscle around them and allow those joints to be strong. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead into our first exercise. So our first exercise, we're going to have a kneeling lunge, all right, with a hip flexor stretch. So what you're going to do is you're going to come on up. We're going to start with our left leg forward, bent 90 degrees. Knee is right aligned with that ankle, all right, not going past that big toe. We want to make sure we're nice and aligned. And you're going to rest that right leg, again, bent knee. And again, my knee is aligned with my hips, all right? So we're not too far back, all right, because we don't want to cause any more stress back there on our knee joint. All right, so we're right here. And if you're on hardwood floor like I am, maybe you put a pillow under your knee or put something soft, all right, so you don't upset that knee. So what's going to happen, all right, so we're in our kneeling lunge. You're going to put your hands right on your hips, all right, chest is tall, making sure those hips are nice facing forward, chest facing forward, and my head is facing forward. All right. As we have all those points aligned up, we are going to push that hip forward. All right. Now see, my knee is still not going past that big toe. It's still aligned with that ankle. I'm just pressing now my hip forward. All right. And we're focusing right here on the right hip flexor. All right, so we should be feeling a nice deep stretch right on that right side first. All right, so go ahead, press this forward, and we're going to hold this for about 10 seconds. And when we do this, all right, especially for those people out there that might have tight hips, make sure you're focused on that breathing. So you're inhaling and exhaling out as we're stretching here. We're going to hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead, release it forward. Now we're going to go ahead, switch on over. So we're going to have that left leg now, knee is going to be on the ground. That right leg is going to be up now. All right, so left leg again on the ground, right leg is bent. So again, focusing on all those points, making sure that chest is facing forward, my hips facing forward, shoulders, head. All right, hands on my hips, making sure that knee doesn't go past that big toe. Go ahead, press those hips forward. All right, so now we're focusing on that left side. So we're feeling the stretch now on our left side of that hip flexor muscle. So this is a great exercise to do before workout, particularly if you're doing lower body. All right, really great exercise, or another good stretch to do before maybe a HIIT class. All right, so HIIT class, we have a lot of high intensity, a lot of jumping, all right, a lot of using of the hips. So this is a great stretch to do for that. Go ahead and hold it with me for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's go ahead back on over with that right knee now on the ground, that left leg up. All right, I'm going to show you just a little progression for those people out there that maybe want a little more deeper stretch. So we're going to do all the same points that we did that first round. All right, everything's facing forward. We're going to press those hips forward. But now what's going to happen is I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to grasp my right ankle. Now, sorry, I got to put this mat up because it hurts my knee on the hardwood floor. So forgive me for that. But you can also find a wall, a chair to balance on if you need to get a balance first. So I'm going to grab my right. All right, so now I'm still pressing those hips forward, but now I'm feeling more of a deeper stretch because now my quadricep muscles are now getting a stretch. All right, and again, making sure that you have good balance. All right, chest is still nice and tall, hips are still remaining facing forward, still making sure that knee's not going past that big toe, but now we're just adding a little more of a deeper stretch. So go ahead, hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Woo. We're going to feel good after this stretch today, guys. Go ahead, switch on over. All right, right knee is bent forward in front of us. Make sure you have a nice, good grip on the ground. And we're going to bring that left leg up now. Still same thing, pressing forward. All right, now this might be a little too advanced for some people. All right, again, know your body, know your level of flexibility. All right, but for those people out there that might have a higher level of flexibility, this is something great for you to do. Go ahead, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job, guys. All right, we're going to go into our second stretch. All right, clear my mat off. So we're going to go into a 90-90 stretch. So what's going to happen, we're going to start off our right leg first in the front. So my right leg is bent in front 90 degrees. All right, making sure that foot is rests right on the ground. And then my left leg is also 90 degrees, sitting in the back, making sure the inside of that foot is faced on to the ground. All right, so right here, we're going to work on some flexion and external rotation in one hip while improving abduction and internal rotation in the other hip. All right, so what's going to happen, I'm going to show it first, and then we're going to do 5 reps, all right, with each leg. So what we're going to do is we're going to have my right hand out to the side. My left arm is going to thread the needle, which means it's going to go through that right arm. All right, so it's going to look like this. So I thread in. All right, as I go in, I'm feeling a nice stretch right here in that right hip flexor. All right, going up, and then I'm bringing it up. And then as I bring it up, then I'm going to reach on over to this other side. All right, so we do that for 5 reps. So we thread the needle and then reach across. All right, so let's go ahead and do that for 5 reps. Now again, everybody's body is different. Everyone's hip flexibility is different. Mine's different from your guys's. All right, so if I look like I'm not going fully, it's because, my hips are kind of tight too. That's why I'm really, really, really an advocate of hip mobility, because it's really, really important. So make sure that if you look different than somebody else, maybe you're doing with your friend or your spouse in the house or your kids, all right, just focus on your body and feeling a nice deep stretch. So here we go. Let's go ahead, thread that needle, and then reach across. Good. Thread the needle. And reach across. Good. 2 more. Good. 1 more. Good. Another way that you can do a 90-90 stretch without, all right, so we're just adding a little more rotation, all right, to that. You can just stand up here, still legs both 99 degrees, and just walk your hands forward, all right, and you'll feel a nice stretch going back on the right side of our glutes, and you'll get some right going in that hip flexor too on the inner part. All right, so you can hold this for another stretch for that 90-90. But we're going to go ahead over to that left side now. All right. So left foot 90 degrees, right foot 90 degrees. All right. Left hand is down. We thread the needle here, and then we reach across here. All right. Here we go. Let's do our 5 reps. Thread that needle. Reach across. Again, everyone, where you feel, all right, so when we thread that needle, we're feeling it on the outer part, all right, and then when we come across, we're feeling it on that left leg, so that, or excuse me, that right leg, that back leg. So we're working that front leg as we thread the needle, and then that back leg as we reach across. Good. I got one more rep. And then last, the same thing, reaching those arms forward. All right, and you can even do a little bit of both. So you can thread the needle, reach across for 5 reps, and then afterwards, you can just take those hands and hold this stretch and hold for about 15 to 20 seconds. All right, so let's get into our third exercise. All right, so our third exercise, we are going to come into a adductor long stretch. So what's going to happen is my left knee is going to be bent on the ground. Again, if you are on hardwood floor, support that knee because we don't want to cause any injuries. All right, that knee is right in line with my hip facing forward. All right, my heel is on the ground and my toes are facing towards the ceiling. So what's going to happen is I'm going to come down. My hands are going to be right in front of me, about shoulder width apart. And I'm just going to lean forward and backwards. All right, so we're working all this hip flexor muscles, adductor muscles as we go forward, and even getting the hamstring and calves involved because we have that heel on the ground, we're flexing our foot. But we're just gonna go forward and backwards, all right? And again, when you're doing this, make sure that your back is flat. All right, so we're not rounding. So my chin is not tucked in. Back is nice and flat. All right, chest is tall, looking right directly in between those hands. We're gonna do this for about 10 more seconds. And again, feeling a nice stretch, not only in those hip flexors, but we're getting those hamstring and calves involved. All right. And sometimes our hamstrings will get tight because our hips are tight. So they're all connected. So we're getting a little bit of everything right here. Good. For 3, 2, 1. Good job. Slowly bring that right leg in. And we're going to switch it on over. Feeling loose, guys. I hope you guys are feeling loose. All right, same thing here. So our right knee is bent, nice in line with that hip. All right. Heel on the ground, toes facing in the sky, hands right in front of you, shoulder width apart. Beginning to lean. All right, and as we're leaning back, we're going, all right, we're going to about, you'll feel the stretch, all right? So the further you go back, you'll feel it, all right? So you want to go to your tolerance, all right? But make sure you don't go too far forward. So we shouldn't be going so far forward that our pelvis is going to touch the ground, all right? Keep it just nice little pulses going forward and backwards. Again, back is flat. Good. Breathing. And this is good to do for about 15 to 20 seconds as well. Something you can do after a workout, all right, or just maybe on your active recovery day or rest day. So keep it going for about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Go ahead, walk that hand in. All right, feeling good, guys. All right, we made it to our last exercise. All right, so we should be feeling nice and loose. All right, hips are opening up, the hip joints, the muscles, quadriceps, hamstrings, all right, glutes, they're all connected. So we have to make sure that we treat all of them. So our last one we're going to do is we're going to do a hip internal rotation. So we're going to come down onto our backs. All right, and we're going to start with our right foot crossing on over that left. All right. What's going to happen is we're going to turn our knee in. All right, so my right knee is bent. All right. We're going to take this left knee. I know it's hard to see from this angle. We're going to take this left knee, keeping that leg bent over top that left. All right, and we're going to drop our left knee onto the ground. All right, so again, dropping, making sure our shoulders stay on the ground. So it's a good thing to have your right shoulder, all right, so your right arm extended out, keeping both shoulders on the ground, rotating that hip in, and then back out. All right, so let's do this for about 5 reps. Good, breathing. All right, your knee might not be able to touch the ground, so that left knee that we're bringing it in as we rotate it internally, it might not be able to touch the ground, which is okay. But we're allowing the hip joint to internally rotate, allowing the muscles to work. Good, let's do one more rep, and we'll switch on over to the other side. Good, so drop that right foot. Now that right foot's on the ground. Left foot is over top, so now our left arm is going to be extended out, so we make sure that we keep our shoulders, because sometimes our shoulders want to come off the ground. This is all in our hips, all right? We don't want our shoulders to be involved. Keeping both shoulders on the ground. All right, now we're going to take that right knee, dropping it now over to that left side. Good. Breathe as you're doing this. Good. Again, also feel the difference between the left side and the right side. Maybe your left side is a little more loose, a little more flexible, and maybe your right side is a little more tight, or vice versa, depending on what side is your dominant side, or maybe you had previous injury. Go ahead, give me 2 more reps. Good, 1 more. Great job. Go ahead, take that left foot off your leg onto the ground and sit it on up. All right, guys, so there's just a quick 4 hip mobility exercises for you. There's so many out there. So go ahead. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, email any of the other team leaders, or just research yourself and find what hip mobility exercises are good for you. But again, very important. So make sure that you are doing this in your everyday routine. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in.